Americans have been warned as they just blew $44.2 billion in a 5-day span, and a shocking amount of that money that was spent was actually spent by people that don't have any money in the first place. This is a major problem, and I want to bring it to your attention, as well as I do have this article right here, which I'm going to pop up on the screen in just a second so you can see and read for yourself exactly what they're talking about right here, as this is shocking. This just went down over the last few days here, and I want you to be up to date with what is going on. This is some shocking information, considering how many times have we heard out there? Affordability, affordability, affordability. That's all we hear these days, and how much the consumer is hurting right now. But based on these record numbers right here, which I'm going to pop up in a second, it would seem like nobody's hurting financially right now until you look into the numbers and realize, oh wait, a lot of that money is actually from people that don't have any money whatsoever, and that is setting people up for a major, major situation going forward. Anyway, let's pop this article up right here, right now. Feel free to read through this. I will point out some of the key details within this. Let's talk through this. All right, so from Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and also Cyber Monday, that 5-day span is considered Cyber Week. Well, obviously, as a lot of people recognize, this kicks off the holiday shopping season. In other words, giving people a license to spend and blow money like crazy, like it is going out of style. Over that 5-day period of time, Americans blew a record $44.2 billion. I'm curious, drop a comment down below if you'd like to. How much did you spend during that time? You don't have to tell me details if you don't want to. I'm just very curious. I'll tell you. I spent $26 on Black Friday. That's it, okay? So if my wife Corey's watching, hey Corey, you're getting $26 worth of gifts that I literally bought on Black Friday. So there you go. Now my wife knows I spent $26, and that is what it is. Now it was like $26 in change, but nonetheless, it was 26 bucks. That's all I spent on Black Friday. Anyway, my point being is that this is massive, okay? This is huge. In fact, on Cyber Monday alone, Americans spent $14.25 billion. On Black Friday alone, Americans spent $11.8 billion. This is a record, the most money that we've ever spent collectively during this 5-day period of time. Now, the major point about this and why this is such an issue is because of the reasons that I just pointed out. Affordability, nobody has any money, the hurting consumer. Well, who's hurting? Based on these numbers here, you would have to question what's the situation and why are, who's hurting out there, right? Now, again, I totally get it. You probably heard this out there just as much as I have. A lot of people come back and say, oh, the K-shaped economy, the rich are doing great and the low income are struggling more than ever. I actually believe that. Based on this community right here, most people that watch these videos kind of fall into the lower / middle income or even fixed income individuals, and a lot of people would probably fall into the category of the lower portion of the K. Okay, now again, did rich people really support this entire holiday shopping time over this 5-day period of time? I don't really know about that. Did rich people really spend $44.2 billion? Well, based on the statistics here and based on what we're seeing, it would seem not that way. Here's why. As you dig into further information that has been released on this 5-day period of time, roughly 7 to 10% of that $44.2 billion was actually spent using BNPL, which stands for Buy Now, Pay Later. That's a nasty financial trap right there. If you are somebody that has used Buy Now, Pay Later, I'm going to be fair with you. I've never personally used it. I've seen it offered many, many, many times when I've gone to buy different things. I've never utilized it. But if you're using that, I want to urge you, please be careful, okay? Just please be careful. Obviously, I'm not here to tell you what to do, and you know your own finances better than anybody else. I'm just saying, please be very careful with that. But anyway, roughly 7 to 10% of the purchases that were made, again, roughly about $3 to $4 billion, roughly, give or take a little bit, was used with Buy Now, Pay Later. That's a lot of money being floated on Buy Now, Pay Later. What that's really telling us is that roughly 7 to 10%, again, between $3 and $4 billion of all this money that was spent during that 5-day period of time was basically spent by people that essentially don't have the money to pay for it, therefore floating it with Buy Now, Pay Later. That's maybe a little bit of a situation that is not going to play out to be very good financially for these individuals. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. All I'm trying to say is that please be very, very careful. It's like floating a huge balance on a credit card. It can get way out of hand really, really fast with very high interest rates. It can get nasty very quickly. And I think we've all unfortunately been down that road too many times. You float a little too much on a credit card. Oh, I'll pay it back. Don't worry, I'll get it back. And then something happens, some bills come up and you can't pay it back. And all of a sudden the interest starts to accrue. And before you know it, you get behind. And that turns into a nasty situation, right? But anyway, just want to point this out for you really quickly. So here's the predicament that we're in right now. Again, we continue to hear out there, oh, affordability, nobody has any money, the consumer is struggling. And then you get reports like this over a 5-day period of time, Americans blow the record amount of money that we've ever spent over that 5-day period of time. And then you get the questioning coming in saying, who is struggling, right? With all this money that's being spent, it would seem that the consumer is actually pretty healthy financially. But that's really not the situation. Like I said, the K-shaped economy, which we've heard about so many times. Now, what else is super interesting, in this report right here, it says the average person spent $337. Well, I certainly didn't. You heard me say what I said earlier. I spent $26. So I was significantly below the $337 average that people were spending. They also found that a record 202 million people shopped online. That's a record. And apparently 129 million people also visited physical stores. Well, I didn't visit a physical store. I just did stuff on my phone. So I fall into the 202 million category. I'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. Did you go out shopping over the last 5 days? I definitely did not. Did you go online and do some shopping? I'd also love to hear if you want to share. You definitely don't need to. How much do you think you spent? I'm just very, very curious on this. Because again, this goes against everything that we've been hearing for the last several months here going forward, or the last several months, I should say, which is that the consumer continues to struggle so much and nobody has any money. I don't know. Again, this is not what was predicted out there. So it's very interesting to see these numbers coming in, right? But also, a lot of people maybe don't have the money to actually spend on all of this for the holiday shopping. And this may come home and may be a nasty awakening for a lot of people, maybe in January. And again, I hope that is not the case. I really do not want people to get hurt financially, but it just makes me wonder a little bit. I'd love to hear from you down below. If you'd like to share in the comment section, feel free to leave a comment down below. But again, as always, do not leave any personal data. I don't want to see that. And again, it's your personal information. I'm just curious, just in general terms, I'd love to hear from you if you do want to share. Anyway, I find this to be super fascinating. A lot of people were predicting that this is going to be a nasty bust on the holiday shopping season. And again, to be fair, this is only the first 5 days, so it does not give a full picture of what's going to happen here, especially over the next, 3 weeks or something like that, until this whole thing wraps up. And then again, what's it going to look like in January, right? What is this really going to look like in January? If people spend all this money in December and, the end of November and all of December, what does this look like in January? Do people completely cut back on spending? They're like, I'm just going to hang tight here. I spent way too much in November and December, and people just think, I'm going to hold tight. I'm not going to spend any money in January. I don't know. I guess time will tell and we'll see, but very interesting situation that we're seeing play out right now. Anyway, I find this to be super fascinating. I'd love to hear from you down below if you want to share. If not, I totally recognize that, and no problem whatsoever. I appreciate you watching this. Thank you so much. Please consider subscribing if you have not done so yet. Please share the video, or feel free to share if you want to. Share button down below right by the subscribe button as well. Otherwise, check out the well over 6,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. Otherwise, drop your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And otherwise, have a nice day. Happy holidays. Thank you so much for watching this. Stay tuned. Got a lot of busy things going on right now. A lot of weird things that are also happening. I'll certainly keep you posted. Otherwise, have a nice day, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. Again, please make sure to subscribe. Otherwise, stay tuned. I'll catch you again later tomorrow in the next video. I'll catch you later.